I'm going to give this a minute. Sometimes the stream takes a second to catch up, it seems, but we're going live. We're going to be talking about the C8 Corvette Z06. It is something that has been a little bit of, the heat of the internet, it kind of seems. But ultimately, guys, there is a lot to discuss here because we've had some information pop up that is pretty big. I mean, basically what we're waiting for at this point is a couple different things. But the big one is, when can we start ordering this thing? When can we start talking about it? And we got a little bit of information from a website here that is a pretty good indication as to what's happening in the whole Corvette world, especially when it comes to the C8. And they're suggesting it's pretty soon. We're going to talk specifically about what soon is in a second, or soon. But ultimately, we have Mike Matarazzo is going to be tuning in with us. He's going to be in the chat section here. He is my salesman at Click Lewis. And what that means for you guys is all the information that I'm giving you, he can either verify or he can possibly correct, because I'm not a salesman. I don't necessarily know 100% how the sales aspect of the whole thing works, but he does. So he's a professional. He's here to help us out. He's going to be right in the chat right over on the side. So if you guys see Michael M pop up, that is Michael Matarazzo from Click Lewis. He is the salesman I do all my business with. So he will be in here as well. What's up, everybody? Great White North Corvette. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. So we're going to start out with something relatively simple. I decided to do something today that I think is going to help all of my subscribers stay a little tighter, basically be a tighter knit family, so to speak. What it's going to be is the YouTube Shorts. If you guys don't know what those are, they're basically like Instagram Reels, but they're on YouTube. What I'm going to do with that is answer questions daily. I'm talking probably somewhere between 3 and 5 short videos, less than a minute long, daily, answering your specific questions. So if you guys have any questions at all you'd like to have answered about me, my cars, my partnership in business, any of that stuff, I will freely talk about with you guys, because I want you all to feel as connected to the channel as possible. And that's going to start happening probably later today, possibly tomorrow. I already have 3 or 4 little snippets recorded answering some of the questions that have already popped up on my community tab post. If you guys go to the community tab, you'll see what I'm talking about and where you can ask some questions in any of the comments section, anything like that. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. It's literally going to be coming here within the next day, and you can get anything you want answered. I'm going to check the comments here real quick. Yeah, so Carrie Glock, this is the real important part of what we're going to talk about today, and that is pricing. So obviously, in order to order the car, you have to have an idea of how much it's going to cost. So that's the thing. I have a feeling, a suspicion, pricing is going to be leaked or possibly even official within the next 2 weeks max. And I'll tell you why here in a second. Carry Glock, the XL splash guards are available. I assume you mean EOS, which would be Extreme Online Store. Hi, Judy. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so guys, what we're going to talk about real quick, before we mention anything else, we are going to talk about Stradman. So I don't usually talk about other YouTube channels on here just because, you guys can kind of see them yourselves. But if you don't know who Stradman is, he's definitely a very, very large YouTuber. And because he's of the larger YouTube variety, he was able to get a C8 Corvette Z06 in his driveway and experience it in a way that no one really else has yet. And I want to show a little bit about that because that's a giant piece to what we're going to be talking about today. And it's going to be literally just in someone else's driveway. So let's go ahead and take a look at that before we get into the big section of today, which is going to be ordering and how it affects you. We are here, of course, at the CorvetteBlogger.com. Now, what we can see right off the bat is, yes, Stradman takes delivery of a torch red 2023 C8 Corvette Z06. He didn't actually take delivery. You know how these YouTubers are. But it is sitting in his driveway, and yeah, he has got one heck of a car line up there. Now, if you look down below, we'll read through some of this with the Corvette blogger real quick. It is just another morning outside the house, he says. Now, obviously, the next bit of text says he does have 3.6 million subs. Like I said, the Stradman, if you guys don't know him, he is a very big YouTuber. He had the ability to grab a C8 Corvette Z06 and kind of experience it for a couple hours. Now, it's interesting because obviously he is a larger YouTuber, but that car is just absolutely amazing. He gets the Z06, the Z07 package car, decked out fully. He'll probably be one of the first ones to have it anyway, but in this case, he's definitely the first to have one in his driveway. But yeah, so basically, after the car was taken off the truck, he confirmed that it is a press car that he can visit with for a few hours. So it was not his car. He didn't take delivery of it. It's nothing permanent. But I had a couple questions pop up about this. Somebody asked me on my comments, or the community tab on YouTube, asked me if these were the carbon fiber wheels or if they were just the black painted wheels that look like the carbon fiber Z07 option. From what I can tell, it looks like it is the carbon fiber wheels. Now, in that picture right there, you can see they do look kind of black through here, but of course, carbon fiber has a gray-black appearance. This isn't the best picture, but I watched a good portion of the video, and it does look like they are, in fact, the carbon fiber wheels. Like I said earlier, it is a test car, and because of the beginning of the VIN sequence, it means that it's the pre-production car, and he couldn't drive it because of that. So what ends up happening to them is they get crushed. So nobody will drive that car other than the GM engineers and stuff like that. Now, this is only interesting because it's not going to be that much longer before you're going to be driving the Z06 as well. And that's what we're really here to talk about today. But before we do, one more thing. Again, from the Corvette blogger, this is something that was interesting, and I kind of assumed that this was going to be the case, but it's confirmed. The 2023 Corvette Z06's Level 2 carbon fiber interior trim will require the 3LZ trim package. So if you guys wanted that carbon fiber on the interior to just absolutely surround you the way that I know I do, you got to get the 3LZ to get that. Now, this, of course, comes from our friends over at the MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, even though this is on the Corvette blogger, because somebody dug deep and found some information on this. Basically, if you want all of that extra carbon fiber, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So the 3LZ in general is already usually a pretty big, pricey option. On top of that, you're going to have more carbon fiber. It's going to be even pricier. Now, apparently the visualizer online actually shows that if you try to add the carbon fiber interior trim package, it automatically wants to add the 3LZ trim level. So that's where this information is getting pulled from. People seem to live on this visualizer, and I love it. I love the Corvette guys that just want to dig deep into everything to figure this stuff out. So we shouldn't even know this yet, but because of the people that want to dig, we find this kind of stuff out all the time. So obviously, you're going to have to kind of dig deep in your pockets to get these options if you want it, because you got to get the 3LZ for the carbon fiber. Now, we're going to move on to one more thing, and it's just a couple spied 2023 C8 Corvette Z06s in the engineering group captured in a parking lot. So there's some revs that happen in here. I'm not going to play them for you, but if you guys want to check it out, go over to thecorvetteblogger.com. There's a lot of information here, a lot of different test vehicles for the Z06 running through this parking lot, and yeah, they're looking good as usual. Now, the footage down here, you can play this. We'll actually let you hear what these things sound like. You guys have probably already heard them at this point, but it is there. Go over to thecorvetteblogger.com and check that out. We're going to move on to the important part of today's upload, and for those of you who stuck with me so far, thank you. Having a little bit of issues with the Wi-Fi, but it seems like it's pretty solid now. I'm not hearing any complaints, so I think we're good. I'm going to get to all your questions in a second, guys. I want to get through this content first, and then I'm going to start reading through the questions and talking a little bit more about the future of the channel, because that is something that I want all of you guys to know and experience with me. So the final thing, the bread and butter of today's upload, is, in fact, that GM is to open the 2023 Corvette order banks in March. So we're already halfway through April. Well, or I'm sorry, February. It feels like it, at least, because February is a pretty short month. So basically what that means for you is if your dealerships have the allocations, you could potentially go and order your Z06 very soon. Now, we're going to scroll through some of this information here. It's on the gmauthority.com website, and it kind of spells it out for us. So right here it says the 2023 Corvette order guide will go live on March 21st. Now, what the order guide is where you can go in there and literally build your own car. It's going to show you pricing. It's going to show you all the available options, and then it will get to the point where you can send your order to a dealership. Now, we know how that works with the way the allocations have been working with the C8s. They're hard to get. So this doesn't guarantee you a car or anything like that, but it does guarantee that the car is going to be coming very soon, assuming you can get an allocation. Now, after that, the 2023 Corvette order banks will open on the 24th. So 3 days later, you'll literally be able to order this car, again, assuming you have an allocation. Now, this is pretty amazing stuff, guys, because originally I was thinking this car was not going to be coming anytime soon. I was thinking probably late summer, possibly early fall. Now, if we're getting the order guides open already on the 21st and the banks open on the 24th, we could realistically see this car as early as really early June. So very, very awesome stuff here. I mean, the car is looking absolutely amazing. You guys have seen it 100 times. I know you love it as much as I do because you guys are always tuning in on this stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and flip back over here and take a look at some of the questions because I want to see what you guys are saying. So, let's take a look at what we got going on here. All right. All right, guys, so I'm going to scroll to the top and start reading through some of the comments here. I know, Mike Matarazzo, if you're still on here, say hi for me because I have some questions that I'm going to bounce off of you. Okay, Mike, I see you on here. Did I describe it right, Mike? Does it sound like on the 21st we're going to be able to build and order the car, or I'm sorry, build the car, see the pricing, and then on the 24th, potentially place an order for it, assuming your dealership has the allocation? Movster Crew asks, if your dealer doesn't have a lot of pre-orders, would you get it quicker? The answer to that is usually yes, but it really depends on how many allocations they're going to get. So allocations is basically, Chevy saying to that dealership, you've sold X amount of cars, so because you've sold that many Corvettes, we're going to give you this amount of allocations. And if they say you get 80 allocations, then that dealership will get 80 Z06s. And if there's only 5 people that have pre-ordered one, then yeah, you have a really good chance of getting it. The problem is we don't know allocation info yet, which is kind of difficult because there's really not a lot of information to go on. And we're really close at this point. We're about a month and a half at most away from seeing pricing and seeing availability and being able to order the car. So we're going to have to know soon what the allocations are going to look like. All right, so for now, guys, I'm going to scroll back up. I'm going to go through some of the comments here because I'm super happy to see a lot of you guys stuck with me through the internet connection issues, but we're back. Frank Smoke says he can't stand when company gives the cars to YouTubers before the public. So, Frank, I wanted to make it clear, Stradman did not get one of these cars. It is not his. It was delivered there strictly for publicity. GM wanted him to kind of give his opinion on it because he's got almost 4 million subscribers. So it is easier for GM to place this car in his driveway for free advertisement than it is for them to pay for commercials and stuff like that. So you got to see the benefit from GM's point of view. They didn't give him the car. The car is not his. The car is gone as of now. All right. Good evening, everyone. Are you there? 21. Yeah, guys. So Mike Matarazzo, always one of the biggest fans for me as far as smashing that thumbs up button. If you guys are liking the content, please hit that thumbs up button. I really want to keep doing this kind of stuff for you. I love talking about the C8 Corvette Z06 because I can't wait to have one. And I talk about it, and I'm pumped about it. So I know it comes across as me being crazy about this car, but I just really love it. So smash the thumbs up, guys. If you're liking the content, it really, really helps make sure that, you know, we can keep doing this kind of stuff. Breaks that YouTube algorithm, you know the speech. All right, try Holiday Inn next time, Ken says. Thanks, Ken. That's awesome. Scott, the internet is actually really good here. I don't know what happened. It just like randomly dropped out. But we're back now, obviously. I'm just kind of reading back through some of the older comments here. I just want to see if you guys are bringing up any questions for me. The guys who are just now tuning in, if you didn't see in the beginning, I am going to be starting a new series here where I'm just uploading YouTube shorts throughout the day, probably 3 to 5 videos, answering your questions, regardless of what your questions are about. My personal life, my cars, my business, just anything. If you have questions about something that I'm doing, comment on the channel, comment on the community tab, or even send me an email at horse.power.obsessed@gmail.com, and I will make sure that video explains an answer for you guys. And it will kind of make it seem like our community here, the Horsepower Obsessed community, is a little tighter knit. Frank Smoke says, again, he probably doesn't even want the cars just for content. Again, I can't speak for Stradman, but I wouldn't say if he does or doesn't want the car, but it was something that was definitely beneficial for GM to provide him that car. So they did it more so for themselves than they did for Stradman. Michael Matarazzo says those wheels on Stradman's, the Z06 that was in front of his house, were in fact carbon fiber. I thought that was the case. My Willie Davis says, my dealer told me I should trade my C8 for the Z06 because they want my used 2021 C8 with 18,000. I can imagine that they would want that because that is going to be something that they can sell for much, much, much over MSRP, especially if GM makes good on their word and stops dealers from selling over MSRP on allocations. They still can kind of find that loophole and sell for over MSRP if it's a used car. So YouTubers promote a lot of stuff without the manufacturer company paying for ads. TV, yeah, exactly. So Cisco, Julian, kind of touches on the same point I said earlier. Free advertisement for GM. TV Free Life wants to know when will it be released. I'm assuming you're talking about the Z06. We are likely to see that car in the flesh probably early June. Early to mid-June, if I had to guess, you're going to start seeing them. Scott Jarvie says, same with the carbon fiber steering wheel. It requires a 3LZ. Absolutely correct. So basically, if you want the carbon fiber on your interior of the C8 Z06, you have to get the 3LZ package. You can get a more limited carbon fiber offering with a lower package, but not all of the carbon fiber without getting that 3LZ. Great White North Corvette asked me, do you know if the new white metallic color will be available to order without the 70th anniversary package? I have not heard, but Michael Matarazzo is saying yes. So maybe. It looks like it might be. Now, Michael Matarazzo is a salesman at Click Lewis. So, you know, I never doubt what he tells me because he's usually right. Yeah, so Kerry Glock brings up another point. If you guys haven't seen it yet, the 2022 C8 Corvette has lost the rear parking assist option because of the chip shortage and all that stuff happening in America right now. So right now they will credit you $50 instead of giving you the ability to get that option because it's not available. Tatha Beast says, do you think the C7 ZR1 value will drop when the C8 Z06 and ZR1 release? I don't think it's going to drop for the C8 Z06 release. It might if they do, in fact, release a C8 ZR1. I'm thinking that, this is just my thought, I don't know that we're going to see a ZR1 in the C8 generation. I think they're going to skip the ZR1 and go straight for the Zora. And if they do, if they don't use the ZR1 name again, then absolutely not. The ZR1 is going to keep going up in value. If they do use the ZR1 name on the new C8, it probably isn't going to tank. It's probably going to hold still, though, because the big thing with the C7 ZR1 is it's the last of the front engine, the last of the manual transmission offerings, and the last of the highest horsepower option you can get with all of those other options I just talked about, the front engine and the manual transmission. So it's going to hold its value for a while before it eventually explodes. And it's going to eventually get to the point where, I mean, it's just like your real rare split window Corvettes. I mean, you're going to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe more. Every dealership. Okay. Joseph Roman says, when do you think markups will go down? I'll be honest with you, Joseph. I sold my C8 Corvette at the end of July in 2021. And the reason I did that was because I was pretty sure the values were going to start going down shortly after that. They still haven't. So I don't know. I mean, the problem is we have such a shortage of everything. It's not even just C8 Corvette stuff. It could literally be a while. And that's great for those of you who still have a C8 Corvette because you have kind of a bargaining chip to trade it in on a Z06. But for everybody else, it's tough because you're paying $100, $110 for a car worth $70. And that's painful. Yeah, Blue Vet 22. I'm actually in Florida right now. I'm sure you guys have heard this enough times, but I'm down here opening up a business with a friend. And we are very close to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood area. Blue Vet 22, I still want to meet with you eventually here soon. I want you to come down and check out the shop because you're one of the most positive subscribers I've ever had, and your comments always literally brighten my day. So let's see what else we got here. Cisco Julian says, I have a 2021 C8 Z51 package, but I want to make sure that the Z06 in the same trim and color, but ride height added with magnetic. Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a build. Frank Smoke says, I'm number one on my dealer. Do you think I'll get it by summer? They told me they need to sell one in order to order a second one. Frank, that's a pretty good number to be at. Honestly, yeah, if you're number one at your dealership, I could see you getting it by summer, yeah. I think as of right now, the early ones are going to come out somewhere around June, so you're not that far down. Jack Burns asks, is Zora still scheduled to come out in 2025? No, I doubt it would come out in 2025. It is possible. It depends on how Chevy follows their schedule, because there was a leaked document saying that they were going to release the Z06, then the E-Ray, then the ZR1, and then the Zora. I don't think we're going to get all of those cars. I really think it's going to go Z06, E-Ray, and then probably the Zora. If they skip the ZR1 like I think they're going to, we could probably have the Zora by 2025, 2026. All right, so Ken says, Michael Monterazzo, see at Click Lewis Chevy dealership, close to Hershey Park. Yep, so you guys know Michael Monterazzo is my salesman at Palmyra, Click Lewis. He's in the chat here. He's a wealth of freaking knowledge. I love bouncing stuff off of him. Again, Mike, thank you so much for tuning in on the live chat here, because you're going to get the stuff absolutely correct when I may be slightly wrong. So I'm glad he's here, guys. Michael Monterazzo, salesman for Click Lewis. He's right here, so we can definitely get some actual dealership knowledge from him. And Michael obviously agrees with me. He says, no, the ZR1 is the last front engine manual. It's only going to go higher. I agree. I got on the list of your dealer in PA. Don Lyons says that he got on the list here at Click Lewis. What are the chances of him getting the opportunity to get the car? How long do you realistically think we will have to wait till if we never got an allocation? So Don Lyons, the biggest problem is The biggest benefit to ordering from Click Lewis Chevrolet in Palmyra is that you're going to pay MSRP. So if you order a C8 Corvette Z06 or even just a C8 Corvette, you're going to pay what Chevy determines you pay, not a markup. There's no markups on it. But the problem is that C8 Corvette Z06 is so popular, it's unlikely you're going to get it. You're probably not going to be one of the first ones with it. So you can go to Click Lewis and you will definitely pay MSRP and not a dime over, but you're probably not going to get it for a year or two, if I had to guess. Future Sean, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Blue Vet 22. I really look forward to you visiting the shop as well. Michael Matarazzo says Justin is usually not wrong. That is mostly because I bounce a lot of my thoughts and impressions off of him, and he returns back good information for me. So it's always a great thing whenever you're dealing with a dealership that sells Corvettes and actually loves Corvettes. So Michael Matarazzo is one of those guys who, he's a big Corvette guy, and he understands Corvettes. So Brian Greer wants to know if I'm ever coming to Maine with any Corvettes. I'm not sure. I don't have any plans in the making, but you never know. USA Pure Power says, good evening. I was wondering if you have any new information of the upcoming C8 ZR1. I do not. So other than the fact that I don't think Chevy is going to release another ZR1, I think they're going to skip straight to the Zora. This generation seems to be all about rebuilding things. And other than the Z06, they got rid of the Grand Sport name and exchanged it for the E-Ray. I feel like that's their way of kind of moving away from everything being the same. So with the Z06, I think they wanted to keep the Z06 name because of what it meant. The Z06 has always been the naturally aspirated track car. Up until the 7th generation Z06, of course, it was always naturally aspirated. So bringing back the naturally aspirated aspect and making it a track car again is kind of their way of rebuilding the Z06. So they didn't want to change that name. But I think with the ZR1, I think they're going to scrap the ZR1 name for the 8th generation Corvette at least. And they're going to call it a Zora instead. Because we all know the story. Zora's thing was to be a mid-engine car. So I think, of course, there's nothing supporting this yet. This is just one of my early thoughts on it. I really think the Zora is going to be the car, not the ZR1. Future Sean says he was lucky enough to get car number 53 at Sioka. What a crazy show that turned out to be. 200 plus people went in person. Yeah, that was kind of the issue, Future Sean. I figured it was going to turn into something like that because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that want this car, and it's going to get crazy. Don Lyon says, thanks, dude. Love your content, and thank you so much. You're absolutely welcome, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you could smash the thumbs up button for me. I see there's 110 people watching right now. I would love to see the thumbs up match the amount of people watching. You guys, I know you hear me say it all the time. It really does help the channel. If you hit that thumbs up button, it really helps YouTube know what you guys like and what you don't. And other people will be able to see this video later and be able to see exactly what it is you guys love. Michael says, I fell in love with yellow because of his yellow Grand Sport he had. He used to have a C6 Grand Sport. And I've never necessarily been a yellow guy, but man, I really do like the way the yellow looks on the Z07. All right, let's see what. All right, Frank Smoke. Frank Smoke donated some money to the Super Chat, guys. Thank you so much, Frank. I appreciate you helping out the channel. Every little bit helps. Of course, like I was saying earlier, guys, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a mini-series on YouTube with the YouTube Shorts, which is basically like Instagram Reels and stuff, where I'm going to be answering your questions. So if you guys have any questions about my life, my cars, my business, anything like that, shoot them in the comment section down below. Send me an email, comment on a video, let me know. I will answer them in a Shorts video, and I will literally address you personally. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, let me know. Let me know what your questions are. We'll get you taken care of. Don Lyons wants to know, how often do I do these live videos? I'll tell you what, Don, I love doing these videos. I wish I could do them more often. I'm really striving to do a live video at least once a week. because I love live videos. I really like to hear you guys and what your comments are and all that stuff. So I'm going to say once a week, because I'm going to start trying to stick to that schedule. Live from the boot. I am definitely not going to repeat that, but that's pretty funny. Future Song said they wouldn't mention a lap time if it wasn't under 7 minutes. I tend to agree. I really do. I'm not sure why we haven't heard something yet. I really thought we would hear it. We would have heard it by now, but it's coming. It's got to be within the next week or two. We are going to hear the official track time for this, and it has to be under 7 minutes. I totally agree. Dominic says, do you think the C8 Z06 will be better than the C7 Z01? Yes and no. So the big thing for me is the acceleration time of 2.6 seconds, definitely better. The carbon fiber offerings on that car, probably better. You can't even get a carbon fiber wheel on the ZR1, not stock at least. The only thing I'm not going to say is better is I have a real good feeling that Z06 is not going to have a better top speed. And if it doesn't, that's kind of disappointing, but at the same time, it's not a ZR1, so I don't expect it to be better than the previous generation best car. Okay, Scott Jarvie says, Justin, with waiting lists the way they are everywhere, why are they doing the 158 dealer tour with the Z06 and create even more frustration? Scott, that's a great question. I honestly thought, I really expected GM to can the dealer tour with the Z06 because of that kind of thing. They seem like GM wants to create hype for their car. I get it. Every dealership, every manufacturer does. They want to create hype for their product, but the hype is so real for this car right now. Nobody can get it. It's so hyped up, and you can't even get one yet. And even if you could, you still can't because, the allocations and all that stuff. So I don't know. That's definitely an interesting. Michael Matarazzo, if you want to maybe touch on that subject, I don't know that he would know anything more about that because typically Click Lewis does not do dealer tours. Okay. Will the 2023 Stingray exhaust also be centered with the round tips? No. So I'm getting a question here that it's asking if the 23 Stingray exhaust will be the centered round tips or if it's only for the Z06. And right now that is a Z06 only feature. Future Sean says, is there a right time in your mind to look for a C7 Z06? They just keep appreciating. Yeah, Sean, without sounding like an idiot too much, 2.5 years ago was the right time. I know that doesn't really help you now, but unfortunately, it really seems like the car market is crazy right now. And I would have told you a year ago that it was going to start coming down. And every time I say that now, I feel like it's going to, but it's not. So I don't want to tell you a day and it's going to end up just being nothing. But if I had to really just totally guess, probably around summertime. I think I've heard a lot of manufacturers talking about the fact that they're going to start manufacturing their own semiconductors here in the States, so we don't have to rely on imports or anything like that. If that happens, then that's going to be your answer. Oh, look at this. Amber donates $20 in Super Chat. How fantastic. Keep up the great work. Best YouTuber around with accurate info. I appreciate that, Amber. Thank you. All right, so Neodis says, I have a question. Will I ever get a C6 Z06 for a good price? That's a good one. Again, I think, based on what I know of what the manufacturers are doing, I think come summertime, it is a good chance you're going to be able to get a C6 for a little bit of a better price. Even the C7, I think everything's going to come down just a hair because we're going to start catching up with the semiconductor stuff. Frank Smoke says, what's your last guess on the price on the Z06? I will say $89K flat if you don't get the Z07 package. Frank, I said a while ago, I made a video, I think 3 or 4 months ago, it is going to be, without a doubt, between 87 and 90K. So somewhere between those two numbers before options. So for the absolute base Z06, you're going to pay around 90K. And I think it's going to max out around 130 to 150. Dave wants to know if I have the list for the 158 dealer tour for the Z06. I don't. I do not know who is getting that car yet, but I'll tell you who does, and that would be the mid-engine Corvette Forum.com. If you go there, you'll be able to find that list for sure. I think Chevy wants to create hype to figure out how much they think we will pay for it. That is possible, Willie. I don't know. I don't think Chevy really works that way, though. The dealerships might, but Chevy wants to know how they can get this car out to us for a price that insanely undercuts the top dog manufacturers like Lamborghini, Ferrari, and stuff like that. So I don't think that they're looking for top dollar here. I think they want to put a hurting on some of the more exotic cars and get this car to the people who really want it. Cyclone says, who will actually get us C8 Z06? I will. I'm getting one. Only rich people? Definitely not. I am definitely not rich, and I will have one. What determines the interior stitching color? Does it automatically match the exterior color? No. So you decide that. Especially if you get a 3LZ interior, you can choose the color of your stitching between yellow, red, white. There's a couple other colors you'll want to look at their visualizer, but do you know if the C8 Z06 tour will be at the dealership around the Pittsburgh or Western PA area? Dominic, the C8, the base C8 came to the, at the time was, oh man, I cannot remember the name of that dealership now. Amber will help me here. I cannot remember the name of the dealership. It's Riverview now, but it was something else, and they may get it. If they get it again like they did last time with the base C8, it is possible. Justin can eat tonight. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for tuning in, Ken. I always appreciate having you here, too. You and Blue Corvette, you guys, I always look forward to your comments. Carrie Glock says, will blackout tinting install aftermarket exhaust? Love your AWE. Blackout tinting doesn't really do custom installs like that. They have from time to time, but it's not something that they typically specialize in. So if you want to get an AWE exhaust, though, your best bet is to wait until Corvette's at Carlisle this year. They always install them for free at that point. Ishwana. Ralph Cruz donates $9.99 to the Super Chat. Thank you so much, Ralph. I appreciate that. Please repeat when Lewis dealership we can order Z06. I'm on list with them. All right, so Ralph, basically what's going to end up happening is GM has opened or will open the order process March 24th. So March 24. That's when you're going to be able to order the car. Now, before then, a lot of things are going to happen. We're going to obviously hear the price. We're probably going to hear the Nürburgring time. We're going to hear about constraints because odds are very good. There's going to be a good bit of constraints on the car based on what kind of options you want. And at that point, depending on where you're on the list, you could possibly get one the first year. Now, you will definitely get it at MSRP with Click Lewis in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. If you guys do go there, you can ask for any deal. You can talk to any salesman, but if he's available, grab Mike Matarazzo and tell him Horsepower Obsessed sent you. He's definitely the guy that I deal with up there all the time. All of the salesmen up there are fantastic people. If you're looking to get a Z06 at MSRP or even a C8, go to Click Lewis, talk to the salesman there, tell him Horsepower Obsessed sent you. Hitman313 says, do you think that they'll ever have an unlockable ECU on the C8 Corvette? I don't. I'll be honest with you, I do not think that it's ever going to be unlocked. I think what they're doing now with piggybacking and all this other stuff is exactly what they had to do with the C7 ZR1 because there was extra security on it. I don't think it's ever going to be fully unlocked. And by the time, if it ever does get done, by the time it gets done, it's going to be irrelevant. Michael Matarazzo says most likely the last week of March is when the ordering process for the Z06 will take place. Great White North Corvette. I heard a rumor that all C8 allocations will go to the dealers. Then you'll have to order the Z06 as a normal allocation. Do you know any information about this? That is the same. That's the same information I've heard. So basically, we'll say the dealership gets 200 C8 allocations. All 200 of those could be Z06s if they choose to order it that way. So if you walk in there and you say, hey, I want a Z06, and they have 200 available allocations, one of those allocations can be used as a Z06 order. Now, my only concern with that as a rumor is that it doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't line up with what I've heard as to how many Z06s they're going to make. So at a fully operational level, the warehouse or the manufacturing plant down there in Bowling Green can make 40,000 C8 Corvettes. They haven't hit that number yet. They've only come a little over halfway. I think the highest I've seen yet for a year production was like 22,000. So if we cut the number of Z06s that they claim that they're going to be able to make, which is 15,000, in half, which is where they've been with the base C8, you're looking at about 7,500. So I don't see how they could possibly make all of those in C8 Z06s and just lump it into one category. I don't think that they're going to be able to do that. Now, I have heard that rumor, and it is possible, but something's going to have to determine whether or not it can be a base C8 or a Z06 just because they're not making as many Z06s as they are base C8s. Okay, so Michael Matarazzo thinks the first round of allocations will probably be around the end of March for the Z06. That's pretty cool. Mark wants to know the top speed of the Z06 and Z07 over 205 miles per hour. I don't think so, Mark. I honestly believe it's going to be probably just under, maybe a hair over. So 201, 202, or like 199. Now, if I had to guess with the way that GM wants to market this, they're probably going to push super hard for at least 201, but I have a feeling it's not going to hit the top speed that the ZR1, C7 ZR1 can. And there's Ken. Ken with the super chat. Donates $20 twice. Guys, Ken, you're awesome. I appreciate it so much. You have been a fantastic support for this channel. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. C8 Z06 asks if I will buy a Z06. I definitely will. I will place the order for one as soon as it comes in. I've been on a list for a Z06 for quite some time, so I will be one of the first ones out of my dealership. And I'll be working with Michael Matarazzo up there at Click Lewis. So if you guys are interested in the Z8, base C8, C8 Z06, whatever it is you're interested in, call Click Lewis in Chevrolet or in Palmyra and tell them Horsepower Obsessed sent you. Ken says he loves all I do for the Corvette fans. Keep it coming. The live chats had to match, Amber. Thanks, Ken. I definitely will do that. I appreciate it. I love going live, guys. It's absolutely fantastic. And when you guys love it as much as I do, what can possibly go wrong, right? If you guys just tuned in, please smash that thumbs up button, though. Let me know you're liking the content as much as I like doing it for you, because it will also kind of break the YouTube algorithm and make sure a bunch of people see this stuff. Yeah, so guys, if you do call Click Lewis, Michael Matarazzo or Greg Lewis, I deal with both of those guys. Like I said, any one of the salesmen up there can help you, as long as you just let them know Horsepower Obsessed sent you. But if Michael Matarazzo or Greg Lewis are available, those are the guys. Those are the guys. Frank Smoke says, do you think big dealerships will get more priority than small dealerships? Example, my small dealership will order one, but Sioka had list of 7,000. Frank, I do actually think that the big dealerships kind of get, I don't know if they get priority, but they definitely get more cars. So I think if you're number one on a list at a small dealership and you're number one on a list at a big dealership, I think you're going to get the car at about the same time. I don't know that they necessarily get priority. That's something Mike Matarazzo might be able to answer a little bit better for us, though. Kerry Glock says, today is supposed to be the start of my TPW. If it goes through production this week, how long afterwards will I wait until I take delivery? Kerry, for me, it was literally 1 week. So after my TPW, it was 1 week later, the car was at my house. All right, so Michael Matarazzo says, big dealerships will take longer to get one. They'll take longer, okay. They'll keep bumping you to the next year. There you go. So, guys, that's why I wanted to have Mike Matarazzo on here, because he's going to be able to answer the dealership questions better than I can, because I don't own a dealership. He says small dealerships kind of seem like a better option. So if you have a small dealership near you and you have an allocation for a C8 you're more likely to get it earlier. Donovan wants to know where he can see a dealer tour list. I believe the midenginecorvetteforum.com has a lot of that information on there. If you go there, you might be able to see the list there. I will edit this video after we're done doing it live, and I'll see if I can find it for you. Ken says he learned so much from me, and he considers me a good friend. I consider you a good friend too, Ken. Thank you so much. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Future Sean donates $19.99 to the Super Chat. Guys, you guys are donating like fiends today. I appreciate it so much. You guys are single-handedly supporting the channel. It's great. Keep up the good work, Justin. There's a lot of negativity with the Corvette Forum people on the Z, and your optimism on it makes me genuinely ecstatic about this vehicle. Cheers. Sean, I totally agree. I don't understand how you could possibly be negative about a car like this. What this car represents is literally America's way of creating an exotic. There's nothing wrong with any of this. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's the car to get. Kerry Glock says, my local central PA dealership only gets 1 to 4 allocations. That's probably pretty normal for a dealership that's on the smaller side. Stradman stated on his video that they were carbon fiber wheels. Okay. I didn't watch the whole video, D&K Vloggers. I watched part of it. I didn't hear him say that, but that's good to know. So the car I showed you guys earlier on the CorvetteBlogger.com from the Stradman YouTuber, his wheels on that car were carbon fiber, and I assume they would be because that is the Z07 package car. Nala wants to know, will there be a massive markup on the C8, and also how much does the 3LZ and Z07 package cost? So the Z07 package, if we take the information from the previous generation C7, the Z07 package is likely to be right around $8,000. With that said, the 3LZ package on the C8 base C8 was just under $9,000. So if you add those two together, you're at almost 20 grand over the base price just on those two options. Now that's assuming they keep it the same. The official pricing has not been released yet. What do you think the 23 Stingray will start at price-wise? The Stingray is going to be right around $63,000, but if you're talking about the Z06, I think it's going to be between $87,000 and $89,000 to start, so before options. As soon as you start checking boxes, you're going to max out around $130,000 to $150,000. TJ, I agree. So TJ says when he gets his Z06, he's going to make it a 1 of 1. The Z06, the C8 Z06 is going to be the first car, the first Corvette that I've ever purchased that I am going to absolutely, I'm going to choose every single option I want. And because of that, it will be a 1 of 1, and it will also be a car I keep. Look at Mike Matarazzo. You're here to help me, and he donates money in the Super Chat. So thank you for everything you do, Mike. I appreciate you as much as I guess you appreciate me. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Donovan wants to know, my last question, when will we know pricing? Donovan, I think we're going to know pricing within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We have to know pricing before they open up the ordering guide, so if I had to guess, probably the end of February, the beginning of March, we're gonna get some pricing. Crossfire Gaming Network, what did I miss? Okay, so we talked about the C8 Corvette, the Z06, the fact that we're going to be able to start ordering that car on March 24th. So the March 24th date has been leaked, and the GM Authority website has talked about it and showed the fact that you can order this car on the 24th. Now, what that means for you is that you're going to know the pricing of this car very soon, probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. You're going to be able to build it online to see all the pricing and all the options that are available 3 days prior. So March 21st is when you'll be able to do that. And also, for those of you just tuning in, smash that thumbs up button right down here. Make sure you hit that and help out the channel. As well as, I want to talk a little bit about something I'm going to be doing on the channel that's a little bit different. I'm going to be answering any of your personal questions via the YouTube Shorts channel content. So it's kind of like an Instagram Reels, and you can view it right here on YouTube. So if you have any questions about my lifestyle, my cars, my business, anything that I do, if you want to have it answered personally by me, I will address you in the video, and I'm going to be putting out somewhere between 3 and 5 of those a day so you guys can see the answers to anything you may have. Now, these are short videos. These are 59 seconds or less. So if you want me to answer something real quick for you, it's the best way to get out a video real fast and the best way for me to interact with you guys on a more personal level. Jason Delson wants to know what's HP stats. So I'm guessing he means the Z06. 670 horsepower out of a naturally aspirated engine, which is still, it still blows my mind that they were able to do that, but that's where we're at. Will there be a massive 10K dealership markup for the new Z06? Probably. I hope not, because if you guys are familiar with the channel, you'll know I made a video not too long ago talking about the fact that GM was going to start kind of policing dealerships and making sure that they don't charge over MSRP. But if they don't actually watch it and actually enforce it, it's not going to matter. I'm on a Z06 list at McMulkin, but way down over 1,600. All right, so Carrie, that means you are going to get one. It's going to be a while. So you're at that number, you're probably talking year 2 or 3. I can tell you the same thing if you go to Click Lewis. Click Lewis, you are going to get that car. You're going to get it at MSRP, but there's such a high demand for that car right now, it's going to be a little while before you get it. So if you're only interested in getting the car at MSRP, but you don't really care when you get it, go to Click Lewis. Tell them Horsepower Obsessed sent you. Anybody there will take care of you. Now, they can also order you the C8, the base C8. Same kind of thing. It's always going to be at MSRP, and you're always going to be dealing with a salesman up there that is a good person. So, Paper Tiger, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Why are they taking so long to release pricing for the Z06? What are they waiting for? So, Dominic, I addressed this in my live video I did for the reveal of the Z06. What I think they're waiting for is the fact that right now the whole market is super crazy, for a lack of a better term. So basically what I'm getting at is we have inflation and we have all kinds of different costs going up because of parts, costs going up because of semiconductors, unavailable parts. All this stuff is affecting price. So I don't think that they wanted to talk about price yet because it's uncertain. And if I had to guess, it's probably changed a couple times. So until they're certain that they can lock in a price at a certain number, they're not going to tell us. Now, with that said, they only have until, they only have another 3 to 4 weeks max before they have to tell us, because once the ordering process opens up, we got to know how much this car costs before we start checking boxes. Carrie Glock says, wishing you good luck with the new venture in Hollywood, Florida. I appreciate that, Carrie. Thank you so much. As soon as this live video is done, I'm actually heading back down to the shop to help out and hopefully get that thing up and running. Josh and one of the other guys from Blackout, Patrick, is down there right now working on this stuff. I needed to talk to you guys about this information, so I took a minute away. But if I buy the car in like 2 to 3 years, will the markup fee be gone by then? I hope so. I really do. Like I said, I sold my C8 in June or July of 2021, and I was certain the bottom was going to drop out on that car shortly after, and it still has yet to do so. So I don't know. The market's so crazy, it's impossible to predict at this point. But I would hope in 2 to 3 years it's done. Charles Hute says, would you expect the bump over MSRP on the Z06 that early buyers must pay to get an early one? Will a bubble burst if the car market shortage changes in the summer or end of 2023? Absolutely. So I've heard this already, that a lot of the manufacturers are trying to make their chips in-house to kind of cut out the shortage. But that doesn't totally solve the problem. It definitely helps it, but it doesn't totally solve it. So there's part shortages across the board. It's not just the semiconductors. But I really do think that once they start nailing down these things and start getting the parts and everything, I mean, the prices are going to go back to normal eventually. It's the shortage of parts, semiconductors especially, but they're working on fixing that, so we'll see. Is it wrong of me to give my C7 Z06 manual to my wife and order a Z07? She sold her GS to make this happen. Absolutely, dude. That's definitely not wrong. Hook her up. I mean, if you got a woman like that in your life that's going to allow you to have 2 Corvettes, let her drive one. Why not, right? Right, Amber? What do you think? I'll enjoy the C8 if I get it in a week or 2, staring at it in my garage until PennDOT gets the stones and anti-skid off the roads. I hear you, Carrie. My C7 ZR1 right now is sitting pretty down in Blackout Tinning's showroom in Gibsonia, PA. It's warm in the showroom at least, but otherwise it's like 13 degrees in the state with snow and salt all over the road. How long have you been on the list for a Z06? I've been on the list since July 5th, 2020 at Criswell. I've been on the list for a C8 Z06 for probably 6 years. You want to get a Z06, and with how popular this car is right now, you needed to be on this list before you even knew the C8 was a thing. Future Sean says chip shortage is going to make a C8 appreciate even more. I'm good. You're right. Everything right now is appreciating because if you have a car, it's worth more than the guy who ordered a car and has to wait a year to get it. That's all there is to it. It's supply and demand. Charles Hute says, I'm 4th on a list, been on list 2 years. Okay. You'll probably get it pretty early then, and that's awesome. Going to wait a couple months to C before Z. Yeah. I think we're going to see these cars early to late June, if I had to guess. Like, maybe you might not have yours by then, but I suspect some people will get early deliveries around then. Yeah, Michael Matarazzo says the same kind of thing. Markup's not going to go away until the demand does, so it's going to be years. I hope that's... I mean, I know, I totally agree, but I hope it's wrong. I'll be honest with you. Nala says, you are the GOAT, man. Thanks for answering my questions. Just sub to the channel and like the vid. Do you mind keeping this live stream up so I can look back and answer questions? Absolutely, Nala. Every time I do a live video, it goes live. It comes back up on the channel after YouTube processes it, so it will be here. I appreciate the sub and I appreciate the thumbs up. Anybody else down there want to smash that thumbs up for me? Go ahead and do it. It does help out the channel. It helps me out personally on the channel. So I know I talk about it a lot. I'm constantly begging for you guys to hit the thumbs up because it really does help the channel. It helps other people see the content. So if you can take just a quick second, smash that thumbs up. Let me know you're liking it, and YouTube will know it too. Michael Matarazzo says he always leaves it on his YouTube channel. Can we order on March 24th or March 31st? I thought orders took place on the 31st. So as of right now, GM Authority is saying that March 24th is going to be when the order banks open. So it should be the 24th. Will dealership honor MSRP? I seen your past video. What if they are charging a markup? That's a problem, Law. So basically, the last video I was talking about the fact that Chevy was kind of over people charging over MSRP, but that's for allocations. That's not for used cars. So if you see a used C8 on their lot and they're selling it for over what MSRP would be, that's not the same thing. It also depends on how heavy Chevy wants to actually enforce that law. So just because they're saying it doesn't mean anything unless they start enforcing it. If they enforce it, then yeah, you can order a C8 or a C8 Z06, and it will have to be at MSRP. Do you think regular C8 prices will start going down with the Z06 coming out? Yes, I do. They are going to start going down. It might not be an incredible amount at first, but the more people that dump the C8 to get the C8 Z06, obviously the more C8s that are available on the market, the lower the price is going to be across the board because, again, supply and demand. 60K subs soon. Absolutely. I'm like 30 away from 60,000, guys. So if you haven't subbed, if you're on the channel watching the live content, please smash the subscribe button right after hitting the thumbs up. Let me know you're liking the content and get me to 60,000. I'm right there, and I would greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys tuning into these things. You're literally the reason I keep doing this stuff. I bring this information to you guys because my friends are all sick and tired of hearing me talk about the Z06. So I come on here and I talk to you guys because I know you guys are as nuts about it as I am. I will get my Stingray really soon, and I'm 156 on Sioka list, so I will trade my C8 for the Z06 within a year. That's what a lot of people are doing. Sean Armstrong says, enjoy the content, appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. Charles Hute says he bought the Fantic air compressor after you advertised it. Love it. Great product. It really is. It really is. And that's another thing. Like, I know I've mentioned this 100 times on the channel again, guys, but I have made so many videos that after I tested the product during the process of me making the video, I scrapped it. I threw it away. I literally deleted the footage because the product wasn't worth it. I'm not going to advertise a product on my channel that isn't up to my standards. And for any of you who know me personally, you know my standards are pretty high when it comes to automotive stuff. So if you're seeing a video on it on my channel, it is good enough for me. That means it's basically good enough for 99.9% of you guys out there. For that 0.1% that have higher expectations than I do, you guys are crazy. Paper Tiger says, thoughts on that torch red C8 Z06 that Stradman was just playing with. I talked about that a little earlier in this video, Paper Tiger. I know you came in a little bit late, but yeah, that's really awesome. And I mean, great for Stradman. I mean, from what I know of him, he seems like a good dude, and Chevy obviously approached him because he has a massive following on YouTube, and because of that, he gets to see these things a little bit early, so great for him. I love the car, though. The car looked fantastic. I mean, I'm still so torn on whether I should get another red one. Kerry Glock says, thanks for all you do for us with the vlogs and the personal contact. That's why you're one of my top channels. I appreciate that, Kerry. I try to keep it as personal as possible because I want you guys to understand that when you see a video from me, it's not just some random guy. Like, you're literally, if you're subscribed to me and you're watching my content, you're literally part of the community here. And I want it to be a tight-knit community. I want questions and answers to happen immediately, which is why I'm doing the YouTube Shorts thing for answering any of your questions and stuff. I want it to be more personal. Taraka, just subbed, great info. We'll definitely check with Click Lewis. Thanks. You're very welcome. Thank you for your sub. Okay. This has nothing to do with... Are you rooting for the Rams or Bengals? Nala. Man, that's a tough question. I'll tell you what, if you know the channel, you know I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, so I'm still a little bit sour. Still a little bit sour about what happened there. But with that said, I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm not a big Rams fan, never really have been, because the Rams have put the Packers in their place more than once, and that kind of hurts. But the Bengals deserve it. The Bengals haven't had it in so long, I feel like they deserve it. I feel like we could have an entire live video talking about the Super Bowl and how everything that's happened in this NFL year. I bought Stradman's old R8, so knowing him personally, for sure, a great guy. I also work at Bowling Green, Kentucky plant, and everyone in the plant loves the vet. Great quality. That's also awesome. The car review guys. It sounds like you're kind of connected, man. I wouldn't mind to pick your brain. Shoot me an email if you feel like I don't know, just going crazy with another crazy Corvette guy. I'd like to pick your brain. Michael Matarazzo, you like the red mist color, I hear. Mike, you want the Rams to win? That's not cool. Yeah, Falcons fan. All right, guys, so yeah, definitely do review, guys. I appreciate that. Kevin wants to know, is it worth the extra money for carbon fiber wheels? Will track a bit, but more daily driver. I'm worried about the carbon holding up. I'm kind of worried about that too, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to get the carbon fiber wheels because I'm a carbon fiber nut, and I can't talk myself out of it. So I'm going to do it. I don't really track the car that often either, but it just looks cool. Stafford needs his ring. Yeah, you know, being a Green Bay Packers fan, Stafford has always been on the Lions for the most part, and he's kind of a rival team. So I can appreciate Stafford and what he's done, but at the end of the day, it's hard for me to root for him. I don't know why. But guys, I think we're going to wrap this up. We've been on here for about an hour. So if you guys have any final questions, let me know. Like I said, if you haven't checked out the CorvetteBlogger.com or the Mid-Engine Corvette Forum.com, you'll find a bunch of information there. I went over some of it in this video for you. Carry Glock, that's what I would do. Get a second set of wheels. I'll have the carbon fiber wheels, and I'll probably get a black diamond set of wheels again like I did with my base C8. Scott Jarvie says he's waiting to see if he can buy warranty on the carbon fiber wheels. I'm going to jump ahead on that and tell you you're probably not going to be able to do that. Chevy is probably purposely not going to offer that because of the fact that carbon fiber is not super, I don't want to say it's not super strong, but it's not as good as like a forged aluminum wheel as far as strength and the ability to stay round is determined. Yes, 100%, guys. My Z06 will be a Z07 package car, and it will definitely have the carbon ceramic brakes and rotors. Yeah, Crossfire Gaming Network says he's seen where those wheels break easier. They definitely do. Carbon fiber wheels can definitely shatter if you hit them right in like a pothole or something. You're the man. Thanks for the info. You're very welcome. You are also the man. So guys, before I go, if you could please smash that thumbs up button. Let me know one more time. Let YouTube know so we can break the algorithm. 11-second Eclipse, some channel support. Appreciate you, bro. So he donated to the super chat as well, guys. That's awesome. I appreciate all the love today. You guys have been great. Actual question, are aftermarket wheels worth it? I'm in the market, but don't want to spend a lot. I do think aftermarket wheels are worth it. I had them on my C8, and I loved them. Will blackout tinting be at Pittsburgh Auto Show this year? Yes, and so will I. So, Dominic, I am flying back for the auto show. So, I'm sorry. If you're in the area, definitely come out and check us out. My ZR1 will be there with blackout tinting stuff. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up, I think. So one last time, please smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. And we're gonna finish this one up, I think. I appreciate you tuning in, Mike. Thank you so much. Again, guys, Mike Matarazzo with Click Lewis. Check them out if you're interested in a C8, C8 Z06, really any cars. Any Chevy cars he can get you. But, guys, I think that's going to be it. I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in.